In the previous video, we created the validate function that checks the form field values and returns the appropriate error message for each of those fields. In this video, let's see how to display these error messages. We have already learned that the Formik object returned by useFormik contains a lot of useful properties and helper methods to manage our YouTube form. It is this very object that also helps us to get hold of the error messages. Let's revisit one of the properties Formik provides, which is Formik.values. Let's log that to the console and go back to the browser. If we take a look at the console, you can see that Formik.values is an object which contains key value pairs for each of the form fields. This is clear to us. Now, as it turns out, Formik also provides us with another property called errors. And this again, just like the values object, is an object with the key value pairs for each of the form fields. Let's log it to the console and quickly understand that. Console.log form errors, and the property is Formik.errors. On page load, you can see that it is an empty object. Now I'm going to clear out the initial value for the name field. As soon as I do that, you can see that the errors object is now populated with the same keys as the value object, but the value itself for each of the keys is the error message that we have specified in our validate function. Name required, email required, channel required. So basically, Formik runs the validate function on change of your YouTube form and then populates this Formik.errors object. All we have to do now is access these error messages using the object dot notation in JavaScript. Let's go back to VS Code and add the JSX. Under each input element, let's add a div tag that displays the error message. Also, we want to display the error message only if it exists. So we need conditional rendering. Formik.errors.name. If that exists, let's render it. Formik.errors.name. If it doesn't exist, we don't render anything, so null. I'm going to do the same for email and channel as well. So Formik.errors.email, if it exists, render it, if not, null. Similarly, Formik.errors.channel, if that exists, render it, if not, null. Alright, before we test this out, I want to quickly refactor our HTML and CSS because the margin right now will push the error message down by 20 pixels. So I'm going to enclose each of these form controls with a div tag. And on this div tag, I'm going to add class name is equal to form control. Let's do the same for the other two form controls as well. So div tag with the class form control and then a closing div tag. Similarly, for the last field, div class name form control and then close the div tag. Next, on each of the error message div tags, I'm going to add another class called error. So this is on the name, email, and channel. Class name is equal to error. Format it. Let's open app.css to modify our styles. First, I'm going to comment out this margin bottom 20 pixel from input and add it to the form control class. Next, I'm going to add an error class. We simply specify color to be red. Alright, let's save the files and test it out in the browser. On page load, we can see that we don't have any error messages being displayed. Now, once I interact with this form by clearing out the name field, the validation messages are displayed. All 3 form fields are required fields. Let's start filling in the values. Name is Vishwas. And you can see that once we fill in the value, the required error message has disappeared. For email though, it is different. If I enter just V, you can see that the required error message is gone, but the invalid format message is shown. And when I enter a valid email, that error message disappears as well. Finally, let's enter a channel name. Our form has now passed all the validations and is ready to be submitted. This is how validation is done with Formik. Let's go over it one more time so that we understand thoroughly what is happening. First, we create a validate function and pass it to the useFormik hook. The validate function checks the value of a form field and basically populates an object with the appropriate error messages. That object is made available to us with the Formik constant returned by the useFormik hook. We can then access the individual properties and conditionally render them in the JSX. As you can see, Formik makes it much more easier to reason about validations and also makes the code more readable and maintainable. Now, there is one thing which I feel is already running in your mind. If I go back to the browser, reload the page, and clear out the name field, sure enough, the required field validation is shown for the name field. Why should we show the error messages for the other fields as well? If we have 20 form fields and I interact with the first field, as a user, I certainly don't want the error messages being displayed for the other 19 fields. Now, I completely understand that. So in the next video, let's see how to improve the user experience when it comes to displaying these error messages. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.